So I'm here in Dane County, Wisconsin with Colleen Clark Bernhardt and Noemi Reyes, two of our field partners who have been absolutely instrumental in getting the PSA randomized control trial off the ground. Let me start with you, Colleen, and ask if you could tell us a little bit about the origins of how Dane County got the PSA and how the RCT evaluation fit into implementation here in Dane County.
Sure. My role in Dane County is the Equity and Criminal Justice Council Coordinator. And prior to 2014, the Criminal Justice Council, which is a collaboration of all criminal justice stakeholders within the county, have been looking at ways to operationalize our commitment to reducing racial disparities in criminal justice. In 2014, Dane County was selected for the state of Wisconsin to go to a National Association of State Courts meeting. There we learned about evidence-based practices and pretrial reform. Prior to then, Dane County had used no sort of assessment tool in pretrial whatsoever. The pretrial subcommittee then filed a report. We had looked at all the current pretrial assessments and thought the Lauren John Arnold Foundation's public safety assessment was the assessment that Dane County wanted to start potentially implementing, largely because we're looking at things also with a racial equity lens. So we wanted to make sure, if Dane County is the most racially disparate county in the nation around criminal justice, that we don't make things even worse. So after the subcommittee reported out, the CJC accepted, and I started trying to craft a relationship with the Arnold Foundation. Luckily, due to the energy and intelligence of not only our stakeholders and the push to get that, we started real communications with the Arnold Foundation. Second to that, communications with Access to Justice Lab at Harvard University began, and that's where the energy actually took off even more so. The reason being, Dane County did not want to implement any sort of assessment tool which could worsen things. And if we don't have a way to measure what is happening before and after and at the same time, there was a lot of intrepidation among criminal justice stakeholders to move forward. So at this point, we started crafting the relationship with Access to Justice Lab for the RCT. We've just begun, and I can say the energy around having Harvard University researchers here with Luminosity, who is implementing the PSA in Dane County, has been unseen in the last decade in criminal justice. So we're really excited to see what happens. Dane County is moving more resources towards actually measuring what we're doing so we can manage what we're doing. And at the end of the RCT, that's what we hope to see.
And Noemi, speaking of the evaluation, you have been instrumental in helping us at the Access to Justice Lab understand the local and state level databases that we'll need to use in order to track outcomes. Could you tell us a little bit about how easy or in fact difficult it is to work with those data? Tell us a little bit about what goes into the nitty-gritty of understanding the outcomes that we will be tracking when the PSA is randomly provided.
So one of the challenges that we faced going into the project is that Dane County doesn't have a centralized database for the criminal justice system. Each stakeholder has their own data system, and so the biggest challenge was getting these systems to basically share data. Number one is the first one, and the second one is to understand how the systems work, how things are documented, how events and incidents are documented, and how defendants are processed through these systems. And as I mentioned, defendants, I also want to point out the fact that there are no centralized databases, but there also isn't a unique identifier for each person that is participating in the criminal justice system. So Those two combined create a challenge in that you quickly have to become an expert in each of the systems, but then also become an expert in tracking a person through those systems.
Great. Well, I appreciate very much all of the work that has been put into the RCT so far, and we look forward to working with you into the future. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank